good evening, beautiful people of Abuja and environs. How are we doing today? It's a new week and I'm so happy to be spending this time with you again. It's Sunday evening, it's 6:30. What does that tell us? It's time for the Genius Kids Show. How have you been? Okay, so today we'll be discussing something really important. But before we get to that, do not forget that the Genius Kids Show is the show where we help you discover the genius in your child, because on this show we believe that every child has a genius in him or her. So I remain your Genius Kids host, Genevieve Duruiheoma. Children, remember you can always call me Miss Genny. And with me today is our amiable co-host. I'll let him introduce himself.
All right, I'm Chidera Ekeleme, Mr. C.
Mr. C, it's been a while. Did you go to the moon?
Just took a little vacation.
All right, it's good to have you back.
All right,
Welcome,
thanks.
Mr. C. So,
Thank you.
you see, having your two hosts present today means that we have something very juicy for you, and I hope you're as expectant as we are ready to discuss with you. Now, about what we will be discussing today. Let's take it this way. If Cristiano Ronaldo had been a pilot, we probably wouldn't know about him.
Of course. I think he would have been, let me just use the word useless. Let me just put it that way.
If Michael Jackson had been a doctor, I'm sure you wouldn't know about him.
Of course.
If Leonardo da Vinci, the famous painter, had been a lawyer, he would have been every other lawyer, like every other lawyer. If Serena Williams, the famous tennis player, if she had been a teacher.
The name wouldn't have rang any bell as well.
Exactly. If Shakira, the fire dancer, had been a pilot,
Wow.
you probably wouldn't have heard about her.
Of course.
If let's now bring it home. I bet you wouldn't have known the likes of Jejo Okocha, Mikel Obi, Alex Iwobi if they had done any other thing but football.
Of course.
I bet you wouldn't have heard anything about Mr. Folarin Falana, that's popularly known as Fowles, if he had chosen to be if he had practiced the law he studied, if he didn't decide to venture into music.
Of course.
I know you wouldn't have heard about Chimamanda Adichie if she had continued in the path of being a doctor, because in fact she enrolled in school to study medicine and at some point dropped off and switched.
She discovered
If
her
she
talents.
didn't go further to embrace storytelling, wouldn't have heard of Chimamanda Adichie today. So all these people I have names that you're nodding and saying, yes, I know. You know them because they chose to look within, discover their ease and pursue it. When I mean ease, I mean their special gifts, their lights, their aptitude. And that is what we'll be discussing today. Talent. Talent is that ease to your hustle. Is that thing that you do effortlessly. Now, on this show today, we'll be discussing talent as it relates to children. How can we discover our children's talent? How can we encourage our children to pursue and embrace their talents so that they can live meaningful lives and attain their biggest potential? So, you see, that's all we have for you today. And right after this break, we'll go deep into the topic to discover and explore what talent is, what are the types of talents, how can you discover a talented child, and how can you help that child to actualize their vision and dreams. See you shortly. Welcome back. And I know by now I've whet your appetite enough, because this topic is something everybody needs to hear. So if you're still alone listening, that's not nice. Gather your friends, call your husband, call your wife, gather your children. This will be very beneficial to them. Let's talk talents. Talent. What is even talent? Mr. C, what do you think? What is talent?
Simply put, I see talent as what you can do. What can you do? As in that thing you can do in an outstanding way.
Wow.
That comes naturally. That's talent.
That's your special thing. Like I said earlier, the ease, what you do with ease. Not that others can't do it.
But you do it in an outstanding way.
Yes.
Just higher than the ordinary, if I may say.
Yeah. So, exactly. So, talent is that's your skill that is polished beyond normal.
Of course.
That's your competence that comes to you naturally. But when we say naturally, that's not to say that you can't You can develop talent.
Yes, but the thing is, most times talents are inbuilt. They are
Exactly.
inbuilt, so they are in there,
The
waiting to be exploited and explored.
ex
Of
Thank
course.
you. But if you do not hatch it, if you do not scratch it, if you do not polish it, it won't come out.
I
So a
agree.
lot of adults today walking about think they are not talented. I've heard people say it's because yours is obvious. Me, I don't think I'm talented. God, where was I when you were sharing talents?
About
Where
that, so
was I?
even in singing, you see people say, I don't have a voice, but you see those people talking. How would you
Mm.
say you don't have a voice when you can talk? Just because you feel
Some
your,
of the acclaimed, okay, let's use like Davido today. He doesn't have the best of
of
voices,
course,
but he
but
puts out an album and the next day it's everywhere. Talent is not even that. Being the best musician in the world of talent does not mean having the
the
best
best
of
voice
voices. It's
at all.
just it's what you carry. It's your talent. It's your place of ease. It's your shining area. It's your galaxy where you shine forth. So that thing you do with ease, why should we be bothered about talent? Why should we be wanting to discover it? Why should we why talk about talents
We have
for
to,
children?
of course, we have to because if we don't emphasize on it, it makes the let me use the word waste again. Because when you have that
Mm,
inbuilt talent, it
mm,
means there's something in you, and if it's not discovered, if it's not exploited, if it's not brought to maximum use, then I
mm.
see the person wasting.
Thank you.
I
This
see the
just
person
reminds
wasting.
me of a quote I saw somewhere that said, the richest part of the world is the graveyard. Because
Okay,
a lot of people went there without harnessing,
exploiting what they have,
exploiting what they
harnessing what
came
they
with.
have, of
And
course.
this also shows that everybody has something. Everybody. Some people's talents are yet to be discovered. Today we hear of coding and all that. 20 years ago, there was no
There's nothing
such
like
thing
that
as
at all.
coding.
At all.
And it's somebody who had that talent that then decided to show it out to the world, and today everybody wants it. Today, how did internet come about? How did computers come about?
That's
They
talent.
were not, it's people's talent, and at some point they said, no, I feel a strong urge towards creating something like this. It doesn't exist, yes, but I can do it. And they went and did it, and everybody is appreciating that.
So that's why when we talk about talent, there are some keywords. It has to be natural, inbuilt, and outstanding, something above the norm. So
Mm,
look at the internet, for
mm,
instance. Look at even electricity. For someone to
mm,
think of something like that is
mm,
outstanding. It's somehow
mm.
above normal, above the ordinary.
True, true,
Some people
true.
can normally just discuss things like in before I say someone is talented in music, for instance. Let me
Mm.
just come down a bit. Before I say someone is everybody can sing.
Ever,
So
of
and
course.
everybody, but you can't say that everybody is talented in music. So you have to just do that
Yeah.
thing above the
Why
ordinary.
do we remember Fela till date?
Of course, you
Of
see.
course, nobody can deny the lights he carries when it comes to music. So he's an icon to associate with in music. So this just shows us that everyone has a talent.
Of course.
As we say on this show, because we believe that every child has a genius in him. In fact, I saw another quote that says, doing easily what others find difficult is talent. Doing what is impossible with that talent is genius.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yes, you do easily what every other person is doing. They're finding it hard. You're talented in that.
That's
But now taking that your talent and putting it to work for you, that is
how
when
genius.
you crack the genius. And that is what we want for every listener today. That is what we want for every genius kid out there. We want our children to discover their talents. We are not the generation of parents that suppress talents. We are no longer the generation of parents that say, you must be a doctor, you must be a lawyer, you must be this. We are the generation of parents that want our children to be that which they were made to be, to make impact. A lot of adults today are not happy. You see them struggling at workplaces. They're not finding fulfillment. And it's not that they're not well paid. Some of them are earning very well, but they're not happy.
You see, Jenny, the funny thing is that many people, thank God that we are growing past this now, as in
Mm.
this 21st century. Many people ended up doing what they shouldn't do.
Thank
Those days
you.
when
We
when
shouldn't.
parents will insist my son must be a medical doctor, my son I must be a reverend, a priest's mother, my son must be a reverend father, all those kind of things.
Uh-huh.
And you see someone who is not built for that, who is not meant to be that, Fine,
Mm.
being a medical doctor, being a lawyer, being an
They
engineer,
are
being they are
great.
great,
They are great.
but
It's not for
just
everybody.
like you mentioned, Chimamanda Adichie, she's doing
Yes,
just very well in the literary world, but she couldn't
exactly.
have done this well in the medical field
Yeah, she would
at
have
all.
just been every other doctor you meet.
Of course,
She wouldn't have been able to make that mark. It's not easy to shine these days though, because everywhere seems saturated. But if you want to still shine and stand out, then you have to have that extra shine in you, and that is talent. That's the more reason why we need to prepare our children. We need to help them discover that gem in them.
and this discovery starts from day one. You don't
Thank
need to wait until maybe he gets to
you.
10 years or 20. No, it starts from the very first day.
Mm.
That's when you start
Mm.
discovering it and start
Mm.
helping the baby to harness the talents.
Yeah, because like they say, if you do not sharpen iron, it gets blunt.
Lungs, of
So
course,
if you do not discover it in time and help that child
to
develop
develop
that
it.
talent, that child may lose it in the long run. Then the child grows up being like many of our adults today. I don't think I'm good for anything. I don't think I have any special gifts. Where was I? God, when? Where was I?
And I'll point all the blames to the parents, honestly, because it's their duty, part of the duty to
To help
harness
to
the talents
harness.
from the early stage.
Don't be looking at the talents in your neighbor's child. Hey, that boy is good. Oh my God, did you see him? He sprints like a cheetah. But you have neglected your own because you're looking at your child to also be able to sprint like a cheetah. Whereas your child has the
He's
solution the
spoken.
world needs. And all you need to do is to look within that child and help that child discover it. So, what are the different kinds of talents? We've already mentioned some in passing. We've mentioned music. You can be talented in the world of music by being a singer.
A dancer,
You can, yeah,
a sound producer. There are so
thank
many
you.
things.
Even writing songs.
Yes,
Some
of
people
course.
are good
A
at
scriptwriter.
writing, a script writer, yeah, they're very good at writing it, the lyrics of songs, and others will sing. That you're a singer does not mean you know how to
To write, of
compose.
course.
So in the world of music, you can be a script writer, you can be
A singer,
a singer, a
a dancer,
dancer. You can play the instruments
of
as
course.
well. Yes.
A
So
sound producer.
sound
There are many
producer,
things.
so many things.
And it's
So
when these people now come together, they now produce the music. So
yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
Then apart from music, there are so many other areas that
Mm.
we can look into sports.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get certain instead of pushing that maybe your child might not really be good enough academically, but look into him and see, oh, maybe this guy might be good in sports. This boy is doing well, running, playing volleyball,
Mm.
doing this. That's why even in schools we encourage them to make sure they have these playgrounds.
Mm.
I must say, gradually these playgrounds are going backwards in schools now. I don't know why, but
Mm.
it's very necessary. The government should reintroduce that. Look into your
Yeah.
child, see the sports he or she can. Thank God, recently we now know that big money is in sports.
Of
When
course,
you see
nobody
the
can deny it
when you see the
though.
Ronaldos now, the type of millions they make,
Don't I wish to have a footballer? In fact, now you see mothers when their son's legs are curved, they say, "Hey, he has the leg of a footballer." Yo, yo, yo. They throw one akara and the boy chases it. Oh, football. Now we want our kids to be but before, who gave them
who cares
regard?
about that? It's only
You
academics,
should be,
education,
and you're
education,
outside here
education.
playing. Don't you have sense?
Even on that area now is comedy. Look at comedy. Comedians are making it.
Aha!
20, 25 years ago, when your son is trying to go into comedy, you say, this person doesn't want to help me. Wants to be
Yes.
useless in
In
life.
fact, he will become the comedy. You will laugh at him. You
But
don't have.
look at everything is talent
Yeah.
now.
So comedy, music, singing, dancing,
Acting, sports.
acting, painting, drawing, making crafts, athletics,
So many areas.
as in
So many
pottery,
areas.
molding things, knitting, jumping. You would think, what is jumping? Maybe your child shows signs that he really loves jumping. Give him height, jump over this, or give him length, jump across this. So jumping, swimming, throwing is the skill of throwing that bets basketballers.
No.
It is the skill of throwing that bets even
Short putters.
Thank you. So all these things are in children. You see multilingualism. Some children pick languages so fast. Speak languages, take them to a Hausa dominated area and they come back saying Kanjuko to you and all that. And you're wondering
Within a
who
week,
taught
they are
you that.
picking words already.
Take them to Lagos and they spend a week in Mushin and they are speaking Yoruba to you. And you're like, who? A vigilant parent would invest in language. I came across a post a year ago of an 8-year-old that could speak 8 languages.
Wow.
8-year-old, and they're taking her around the world.
Wow.
This girl had never been to a school. She was homeschooled by her mom. Her mom taught her languages by showing her YouTube videos. The mom could not speak any of those languages. The girl learned and mastered all those 8 languages all by herself. So when that child is talented in language, clearly, so are you there suppressing your child's, or maybe your child is trying to speak and you're like, shut up, you've not finished learning English, you want to confuse yourself? Multiple languages don't confuse children.
Honestly.
They don't confuse them. So those are actually, then storytelling. Your child is a storyteller. That's a talent, because that child could go into journalism, thank you, writing,
novel writing.
Yes, even movie production, because that child is good in telling stories. So, well, I think we've seen the world of talent is endless. It is endless. So many things can be talent, and every person has a talent in him or her. So let's just take a short break. Let our listeners digest this thing. In fact, if your child is near you, bring him and put in front of you. Be looking at him. Look at him, look at her. You may discover his talent right now.
I agree with you.
So let's just take a short break. When we come back, we'll discuss about how we can help our children develop their talents. See you shortly. Welcome, talented listeners. Welcome back. So still on the discussion, talents. How talented are our children, and how are you helping them discover their talents and pursue their talents? We can't be preparing our children for the future that is ahead using the skills that are behind. I mean, everybody won't be a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, an engineer. There are professions that are germinating, that are coming up in the future. You can only key into those or even become the inventor of those when you discover your child's ease today. So now this brings us to how? Because that's the major problem. Some adults are even saying, I don't think I'm talented. How? How can you discover a child's talent?
Well, I'll start from the simplest thing to do. Allow your child to be free. Allow your child to express him or herself. Allow your child to play. Allow your child, just make it like a sort of a timetable for him. Okay, there is time for school, there is time for your assignments, and there's time for you to express yourself. Play with your peers, but it has to be coordinated or controlled play, though. But allow them to express themselves. And while they are doing that, try to observe them. By being free and expressing themselves, there are things, if you're very observant, that you can be noticing while observing them.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
while they are that free and expressing themselves, most times they really don't have anything to hide. They show themselves the way they are, and that's when talent comes up. That's when you can know, oh, so this person, this boy, this girl can do this, can do that. When they're that free, playing with their peers, with their fellow kids. So that's the basic thing to do.
Free play. Last week on this show, we talked about play, helping, as in the relationship between play and learning. And our guest here in the studio told us that the best way children learn is through play. And now again, Mr. C has made a point that the best way children show what they have learned or what they carry is through play. When you observe your child during free play, I'm not talking of play that you are the director, jump like this, do like that. No, allow them, let them play the way they want to play. When you observe your children when they play, you can tell, especially for their physical talents. Yes, if that child is athletic, it's easy to tell if you look at them. In fact, when they're running, you think they'll fall. But they understand space, they understand speed. You see them overtaking, and you're like, wow. So if our children are talented in play, you can then be looking towards some physical activities. Yeah, that child could.
Some of them might be dramatic by being that free. Then you say, oh,
yes,
this girl can even do well in acting.
Yes,
You can come up through free play too.
So you can Gymnastics, you see your child tumbling, tumbling. You're like, what's the use of this kind of area? What is the use of it? You are just spoiling all my furniture in this house. Every year we are changing furniture
I,
because of your tumbling.
I do not even know that Nigeria needs people to represent us in the Olympics in
Exactly.
gymnastics. We
So
rarely have competitors in gymnastics.
I think the takeaway we should be taking from this first point is we should observe our children when they play. You may not be there when they're playing in school. This also where the teacher's feedback comes in. So when you go for open day, what kind of things do you discuss with the teacher? How do you see my child? Does he play well with people? What are the things that interest him? If the teacher's perception corroborates what you already think, then you know, yes, you've hit it. That this child is good in this. I remember going to my daughter's school and the teacher said, just let them go outside. You see her drawing in the sand. I'm like, oh, mama, do you like drawing? She said yes. So that if we invest into that and explore it further, she may tomorrow be the likes of, drawing big things. So true play, you can actually discover your child's talent. Yeah. So at this point, so it's not like we are just giving lectures. I think we should open the phone lines so our listeners at home can also call in and tell us what they think. How do you think you can discover the talent in a child? The number to call is 081 084 47518. And if you consider yourself talented, how did you discover your talent? How? Call us and let us know. 081 084 47518. Now, I think, that question I asked just reminded me of something. I think I like to talk. And maybe that's why I'm hosting this show. When I was little, my daddy used to call me radio because my mouth never shuts. Radio, or no, a bird that wouldn't stop. Pop, 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 pop. We have a call. Let's take it a minute. Hello, good evening. Hello. Oh, we lost that call. Please call us back, okay? We are waiting. So I like to talk, and today look at me talking and enjoying the talk. So had I been shut up, do not talk, maybe I wouldn't be here today.
And
So
that's one very important thing. There's nothing like doing a job that gives you joy, as in enjoying the job you do. Not a job that will look like maybe you are punishing yourself just to make money. So talent, when you use your talent to make money, is even more enjoyable.
as in
More enjoyable.
they're paying you to do what you
You
like
like
doing.